Welcome back to the channel, everybody. It is my favorite time of year. Grizz football is back in under a week, and I could not be more excited. Grizz are coming off a memorable run to the title game last year, but this team might be even better. Defense lost a lot of key players from last year, but you already know this. Every year this team reloads on defense. I am not worried about the defense. What I'm really excited about, though, is the offense. This team has the right pieces to be the most explosive team in the country. The offensive line has experienced the trio of Bergen, Fonts, and White at receiver, running backs Osmo and Gilman. Plus, many people forgot about this, All-American tight end Cole Grossman returns. However, the biggest question that will determine how the season goes, of course, you already know what it is. It is the quarterback play. Will it be a Yacht, Fife, Hewitt? Who knows? We shall soon see. If, and this is a big if, the Grizz can get good QB play, this offense can be very, very good, and at times unstoppable. Combine that with the Grizz defense, dominant special teams as we always have, this team can go all the way. So without further ado, welcome to the video, everybody. Let's get this thing going. Starting this thing off, we got Missouri State coming into town on August 31st in a blackout game. It's a night game. Atmosphere should be crazy. Last time I looked, the game's actually sold out. There's no tickets on GrizzTix. And then other websites, there's only about 100 to 200 tickets left, so this is going to be an absolutely crazy atmosphere. However, this game could provide a little bit of a challenge. Missouri State does play in the Missouri Valley Conference, which obviously is known as one of the best conferences in the FCS. However, the big story about this game is that Missouri State is moving on to Conference USA after this year. So this will be their final FCS year, which is really interesting because that makes 2 years in a row the Grizz have played an FCS team that's moving up to FBS. Last year it was Delaware. This year it's Missouri State. Last year against Delaware, the Grizz absolutely dominated, and I expect we're going to see a similar outcome to that. Obviously, in terms of paper, the Grizz offense, defense, they're way, way better. But how are they going to play week one? That's the really big thing. And like I said earlier, who's the quarterback? If you remember last year, which who could forget the memorable season last year, the Grizz started out horrific, and many people were wondering what was going on. Then they found out their quarterback, and they won 10 straight games. The beginning of the year is going to be rough if we don't have that figured out again. With how good the Grizz offense is going to be this year, their defense is always good, and the fact they're playing in Washington Grizzly Stadium, the Grizz they're not going to lose this game. The Grizz do not lose at home, and it's not going to be to Missouri State. Grizz win comfortably to start the year 1-0. Now, week 2 does concern me a little bit. At North Dakota, the Grizz have played at North Dakota on the road 12 times and only have a 6-5-1 record. Last time we played them in Grand Forks was a 41-14 loss. So although the Grizz have the better team, like I said, this beginning of the year, which Grizz team is going to be coming out? Is it going to be the Grizz team that doesn't know what they're doing because it's the start of the year, or is it going to be the late mid-season Grizz that have everything going? And because when the Grizz, here's the thing about the Grizz that you need to know: when they are going on offense and their defense is like Grizz football defense, I mean, they're always good at defense. And if the special teams is clicking, this team will be unstoppable. But when is that going to click? When's everything going to click? That's the big thing. Going into North Dakota is one of the hardest places to go into. North Dakota has one of the best receivers in the FCS in Bo Belquist. However, North Dakota does have questions and lost some people. I think this could be a lot closer game than many people think. But in the end, I think Montana has too much talent, and the Grizz are going to walk out and get a huge road win at North Dakota to move to 2-0. Week 3, the Grizz are back at home against Pioneer League school Morehead State. I don't even need to talk about this game. The Grizz are going to dominate. It's not going to be close. It's going to be a blowout. Grizz start 3-0. Now, week 4 is going to be a much different story against Western Carolina. This week 4 might be the crown jewel of the non-conference schedule. If you can only choose one non-conference game to go to this one. Montana will host a ranked Western Carolina team. They got Cole Gonzalez. He's one of the best QBs in the FCS. This Western Carolina team is really, really good. We talk about how good the Grizz offense is. The Catamount offense is just as good, maybe even better. This is going to be the hardest non-conference game for the Grizz. And like I said earlier, if the Grizz haven't figured this quarterback situation out, you want to pay attention to this game because this one can get very, very interesting. But like I said earlier, this is at home. Grizz are not going to lose at home. It's not going to be easy at all. This can be a challenge, but the Grizz are going to get it done in front of the home fans. Game 5 is probably the most scared I am of a game on the schedule. Our first conference game on the road against Eastern Washington. I'm sure everybody already knows this, but the Grizz cannot beat Eastern Washington on the road. Ever since they put in that red turf, the Grizz have yet to win on it. For whatever reason, they just can't do it. It's like they're blinded when they see it, and they never win. Couple the fact that we can't win on the road against Eastern Washington with the fact that Eastern Washington ain't too bad this year. Efton Chisholm, really good at receiver, probably one of the best in the FCS. As good as I think this Grizz team is, I have an extremely bad feeling about this one. And until the Grizz prove to me they can win on this red turf, I'm going to have to go with EWU in this one, as much as it pains me to say that. Grizz fall to 4-1. Game 6, we're back in the mecca of FCS football, taking on a ranked Weber State team. Coming off that loss to Eastern Washington, I already know everybody is going to be talking. They always do. You already know it. Whenever the Grizz lose, people talk. This is the perfect game for the Grizz to silence everybody. With the Grizz back at home playing a ranked team, I think they come out and they just put it on Weber State to show the world, hey, the Grizz aren't done quite yet. I think the Grizz dominate in this one to move to 5-1. This next game is the easiest one to pick at home against Northern Arizona. It doesn't matter how good NAU is, the Grizz are not going to lose this game. You already remember last year, it was a complete disaster. The Grizz will not let that happen again. They're going to dominate this game. Following the Northern Arizona game, the Grizz have a bye, which is followed by a game at Northern Colorado. Northern Colorado's never good at football. This ain't going to be close. Grizz dominate again. Next up, it's another road game against a team that's not very good in Cal Poly. The Grizz have had struggles in the past on the road. It's not going to happen here. This is one of the worst teams in the Big Sky. Grizz moved to 8-1 on the year. Next up, the Grizz are back at home taking on UC Davis in a night game. UC Davis could be very dangerous as they have the best running back in the FCS in Lan Larson. This is a significant game as well because it's being broadcast on ESPN2. It's been a while since ESPN2 did a regular season game in Missoula. Now, they've done playoff games, but this is the first time since 2015 that they're going to have a regular season game on in Missoula. I think the Grizz are going to use that energy. They're at home. Like I've said many times, they don't lose at home. They're going to win it again. 9-1 for the Grizz. The penultimate game of the year has the Grizz playing their 7th home game of the year as they take on Portland State. I don't know why it feels like the Grizz always play Portland State right before the brawl. It's just crazy. Why is it always the same? Anyway, this is where the term trap game gets thrown around. Right before a rivalry game, maybe you're overlooking your opponent, looking on it next week. But it does not happen with Montana. I saw a stat last year that I could pull up, but I really don't want to. I don't feel like it. But what it said was the Grizz thrive in these situations, and that's going to happen again. The Grizz know how important this game is. They're not going to look past Portland State, whether they're good or not. They know they have to win this game, and they're going to. 10-1 for the Grizz. Well, everybody, this is the big one. The stakes just keep getting higher and higher for this game every single year. Last year, it was for the outright Big Sky title and the number 2 overall seed. Now, you may be asking yourself, how can you get bigger stakes than that? Well, how's this for you? There's a very, very good possibility both teams could potentially be 11-0 going into this matchup. Although the Bobcats looked absolutely horrific against New Mexico and were lucky to get the win, they have a very manageable schedule in front of them and a really good opportunity to go undefeated. That just leaves the Grizz to go undefeated. Now, even though I predicted the Grizz to lose to Eastern Washington, that really has nothing to do with talent. The Grizz are the more talented team, and there's not really anybody that can debate that. But the more talented team does not always win. I mean, there's countless examples of that everywhere you look. That's why I predicted a loss in that game. But would anybody be shocked if the Grizz win that game? No, they can definitely win that game. So if they do win that game, the Grizz are in this game 11-0 as well. And oh man, can you imagine that? What a matchup that would be. Undefeated Montana State with a top 2 seed and a home field advantage on the line. I mean, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about that possibility. I think I always predict a Grizz win every single year. I'm not so sure this year. I'm sure you know for the last 4 years, the home team has just been absolutely dominant. None of these games have even been close. Unfortunately, just like the Eastern Washington game, I'm just not confident we can go on the road and win this game because nobody has been able to go on the road and win it. There's such huge home field advantage that it's like you kind of just have to side with the home team no matter what. Now, if it was on a neutral site, I say the Grizz win. They're the better team. But this is not in a neutral site game. This is in Bobcat Stadium. Now, we always say these games are going to be close. I mean, last year, you saw it. I mean, we had 2 top 5 teams, and we're thinking, oh, this is going to be such a good game. It's going to come down to the end, and the Grizz just ran MSU out of the building. They won by 30. It was not close. It's never close. We always assume it's going to be. It never is. So as much as I want to say the Grizz are going to win this game, it's just, even how much of a Grizz fan I am, I know how hard it is to go on the road. And it's just the home team does not lose. So as much as I want to say the Grizz win this game, I'm just going to keep riding the hot hand and picking the home team because it's yet to fail me. The last 4 years, I got to go with Montana State. Well, everybody, that does it for the season prediction video. I have the Grizz going 10-2 with road losses to Eastern Washington and Montana State. And that really hurts because I know the Grizz are better than both of those teams. That's what college football is all about. You never know who is going to win, who shows up, who doesn't show up. That's what's so good about it. It's so unpredictable. Anybody can beat anybody on any given day. Best case scenario, obviously, for the Grizz, they come out and play like they can, and they win every game and go undefeated, get the number 1 seed more than likely. That's a legit possibility. The Grizz have good enough players to win a championship. It's all about putting it together. If the Grizz can put it together, if they get solid quarterback play, I mean, that's the biggest thing. If the Grizz have such good skill players, if they get good quarterback play, they have a really, really good chance of bringing home title number 3. All right, everybody, that's going to do it for the video. Make sure to comment below how you think this season will go. I'd love to hear what everybody thinks. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time when the Grizz take on Missouri State in Missoula. See everybody there.